What's up, YouTube? It's Logan, the Metal and Cat Snob here, and tonight I am here with one of my favorite videos to record. This is something I just can't get away from, and it's shopping at Goodwill obsessively to try to find anything that might be worthwhile adding to the collection. It's been a little bit since I've recorded the last Goodwill update video, so here is kind of what I've found within the past 6 months to a year at Goodwill. Stick around and be amazed. And then if I'm shopping at Goodwill and thrift stores all the time, it must mean I'm not a rich man. So sometimes I don't drink expensive craft beer. Sometimes I keep it simple. Pabst Blue Ribbon, yet again. Surprise, surprise. How dare I call myself a snob? Oh well. This is different though. Look at this. This is the light Pabst. 96 calories, 3.5 carbs, 4.2% alcohol. How the mighty have fallen. It's a look. So I've actually slowed down on my Goodwill hunting spree. You see, I've gotten a new job that kind of more puts me in an office and doesn't let me leave as much throughout the day. Previously, I was on the go, I was traveling around, and I didn't like the job, but one of the perks was I could stop into a ton of different Goodwills and thrift stores throughout the week. So during the peak of this job, I had this routine going of hitting up about 4 to 5 of these Goodwills and thrift stores on like lunch break or times in between meeting with clients, where I would just sneak in, sneak out, and take all the good finds with me. So that did kind of stop. So this will probably be my last Goodwill update for a while. So I definitely wanted to make this video before I let the Goodwill thing drop for the time being. Let me wax poetic about, this Goodwill shopping habit for a second. I just enjoy being able to find super affordable albums that I would never normally pick up and add it to the collection and see what I think of it. Because, typically when you go and you're looking for something specific, you're never going to find that thing from these places. But if you just go for the sake of going and you make it a routine, you're going to find something. Is it what you want? No. But is it something that could still be worthwhile? Yes. This is my worthwhile stuff that I found at Goodwill probably over the past 8 months to a year. So I'm going to start with my second best Goodwill haul that I've had. There was a lot of more commercial, alternative rock in it that I'm not going to show, but here are just a couple of highlights from it. The first thing, of course, is the biggest band of the past 10 to 15 years, and I'm talking about Ghost. So I am indeed a Ghost fan, but I have a cutoff. And I believe the cutoff is the album Prequel. Thankfully, this came out before Prequel. This was their 2015 album, Meliora. It's pretty tough to complain about this album. Some people consider it to be their strongest. I'm not sure about that, but it's definitely a peak in their career. Probably some of their strongest songwriting. And they still have some very metal tracks on here as well. The track Cerise just has this very heavy main riff, which is always easy to get stuck in my head. From the Pinnacle to the Pit is a fast number. And then other highlight tracks, Mummy Dust is a great one, and He Is, of course, is one of the highlights too. As with all Ghost albums, the packaging and the booklet is pretty phenomenal. Would I have purchased this for the full price? No. Will I pay $1? Yeah, absolutely. Alright, next up is actually one of my all-time favorite bands. I made a top 20 band video, and this one was maybe in the top 15? This is ISIS with In the Absence of Truth. This is their 2006 album, which was their follow-up to Panopticon. And this kind of shows the band continue to clean up their sound and add some more progressive elements in there. And it's great. It's not my absolute favorite or even like a top 3 favorite for the ISIS catalog, but it's worth owning. And this is actually the second copy I have. The first one, believe it or not, got waterlogged by a moisture attack back in the day. So I'm happy to finally have a copy that the booklet is not all stuck together. So thank you, Goodwill. One of the albums I was excited to finally find is from one of my favorite artists of the 90s, Chris Cornell. Of course, Soundgarden is a favorite band of mine as well, but he went on to do some solo work, which I've heard good things about, and from what I've listened to, it's mostly really good. The album everyone recommends, which I actually have not listened to up until this point, is Euphoria Morning. So here we go. This one came out in 1999. It's a bit more reserved, of course, but the voice of Chris Cornell is what matters, and it is on full display here. This is some emotionally impactful music, and just another chance to listen to Chris's vocal skills in all of its glory. So I'll take that any day of the week. And then speaking of other 90s legends gone solo, here is Jerry Cantrell with his sophomore solo effort, Degradation Trip. So yeah, this came out on Roadrunner Record in 2002. And this, of course, is almost a supergroup. We've got Robert Trujillo on bass and Mike Borden, of course, from Faith No More on drums. So believe it or not, this is like the third or fourth Jerry Cantrell Degradation Trip album I picked up at Goodwill. I don't know what about this album makes people, donate it, but their loss is my reward and potentially yours. If you don't have this album, Degradation Trip, let me know down below. Let me know why you'd want this copy, and maybe I'll send it to you. Leave a comment. I just want this music to have a good home, truthfully. I don't want it to fucking end up in a Goodwill garbage bin. And then another album that I only picked up because it was at Goodwill, Motley Crue, Theater of Pain. This is indeed the most maligned classic Crue album. It does not get a lot of love. And I get why. I've probably listened to this once since finding it, and I don't know when I'll listen to it again, but it still deserves to be in my collection for the price of $1. The singles, of course, are okay. Smoking in the Boys' Room is an easy, catchy song. Home Sweet Home, it's an iconic track. For me, it's kind of worth having this just to be able to play that one every now and then. Off the top of my head, for the rest of the album, I'm going to keep my mouth shut for everything else, but I'm still happy to finally get a copy of Theater of Pain, Motley Crue. And then another all-time favorite band that I'll just buy anything by. This is Rush with their live Snakes and Arrows double album. So honestly, it's pretty cool to find a digipack like this, complete with both discs still intact. It's pretty common to go into Goodwill and find something like this and have the albums be missing. This is in excellent condition, so I must have found it right after it went out on the storefront. But no, it's cool to have a live album from this era. This came out in 2008, and it's got a lot from all of their classic stuff. It opens up with Limelight, but then we get into Digital Man. They do a version of Free Will. We get Circumstances, Subdivisions, Witch Hunt, one of my all-time favorite Rush songs. And the encore is A Passage to Bangkok and YYZ. Of course, there's a bunch of other songs from the Snakes and Arrows era, which I'm not as familiar with. I do not own that album. It's a very well-balanced set list with enough strength to warrant buying for sure. And then, not quite a metal album either. We're talking about noise rock, post-hardcore from the early 90s. So, if you're a fan of this kind of stuff, you gotta listen to Jawbox with their third album, For Your Own Special Sweetheart. So, this was actually a big label release, came out on Atlantic in 1994. Yeah, this is very much of the time, of the era. If you were a fan of Quicksand or Helmet, or maybe some more of the dynamic hardcore style stuff like Fugazi, Jawbox is probably in your wheelhouse, and probably is. Like, this album has a lot of standout tracks. It is really a highlight of what 90s post-hardcore was, I think. And then in the more metalcore, beatdown, hardcore vein, we got full-blown Chaos with their third album, Heavy Lies the Crown, from 2007. So yeah, this came out on Ferret Music, and it's pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, just look at the name, look at the album itself. This is for fans of Ringworm, Throwdown, Terror. Another example of an album that I would never normally buy, but, you know, if I find it for $1, I am picking it up. The fact that they got Conan on the inner cover helps as well. This is also an example of some of the bonus shit you'll find with your Goodwill CDs. It came with a free CD of Black Dahlia Murder's Miasma. I don't know how it happens, but people just stuff multiple CDs on top of each other, and the staff won't check. So you'll end up with buying 2 for the price of 1. Thankfully, I already have Miasma, and I don't need another copy, but hey, it doesn't hurt. And then one of the other perks about shopping at Goodwill is you might get plugged into the local music scene. So first up, this is Demise. So these guys are from Metairie, Louisiana, which is just outside of New Orleans. Very much basically where I'm at. This is their 2000 demo, The 13th Table. They didn't end up having too much of a career, though they did release a full-length in 2017 called Obscure Mold of a World. I have not listened to it yet. I've basically just stuck with this, which is a solid 30-minute slab of basically New Orleans extreme metal. Like, it's kind of tagged as death metal in the Metal Archives, but you hear some acid bath and some sludge influence in here, and definitely some goat horror, hodgepodge of just extreme metal. Like, it's down-tuned. There's definitely death metal parts, but at the same time, there's some clean singing and some more just down and dirty sludge riffage too. It's not surprising to find out that these guys are a local New Orleans band. Demise, which came out on Incision Records. Never heard of them, but there we go. And then another local New Orleans band is NOLA. Believe me, I picked this up because of the cover. I did not realize that this could have been a metal album at all. I just saw a Triceratops skull with the universe inside of it and had to buy it. I looked at the members on the back and figured there was a high chance that they were high while writing this also, but that it was good. It's also called Up High, so I figured it was some kind of stoner stuff, and I was right. Imagine if Sonic Youth met up with Windhand and Caius, and that's kind of what you get. There's some noise and garage rock influence for sure, and some of it is really just simple bluesy rock and roll music, but the guitar tone in certain heavy sections make it more stoner rock than anything else. There's definitely that, like, rock and roll swagger, though, with this. But it's fun stuff if you enjoy, like, stoner riffs and just fun rock and roll songs. They do a cool cover of I Put a Spell on You as well on here. NOLA, Up High. And now, this is the big one. This is the big little haul that kind of blew me away when I saw it. Like, people have the right to question if this actually happened or not. I'm pretty sure it did. It's in my memory bank, so there we go. But I walked into Goodwill and found 2 King Diamond albums on the shelves. And these are early King Diamond. Like, both are Road Racer CDs. Of course, with their debut, Fatal Portrait. I actually already owned this one, but it's a different pressing. It's a later pressing, so I don't know, it looks different. I think I'm going to choose to be a collector nerd and keep both, because why not? This is a phenomenal album, and finding this at Goodwill just got me back into it, man. It's such a creepy sounding King Diamond album. Very much still in that Merciful Fate sound. They haven't quite embraced the concept album yet, and I think it's stronger for it. We get tracks like The Candle, The Portrait, Halloween, and some of these just sound downright evil and suspicious. I am indeed a fan of Fatal Portrait. It is probably near the top of my favorite King Diamond albums. So cool finding this. And then the other one is actually a King Diamond album I have not owned up to this point, so I was happy to finally get The Eye in my collection. So yeah, this is his 5th album, coming out in 1990, still on Road Racer. I mean, I believe this is a first press, and I'm pretty sure the other one is a first press as well. So fucking cool. I love this CD too. Like, it looks like a flag. I actually am a big fan of this album cover, and even more a fan of the back and booklet art. Like, this is a straight up concept album, and I mean, it's no secret, it's about witches, and it's very much heavy on the witchcraft. There's a couple times in here where King Diamond does his best elderly witch voice, and it's pretty awesome. It makes me chuckle, but it's pretty awesome. Great songs too, a bit more straightforward than Fatal Portrait, and a bit more like riff heavy too. Eye of the Witch is absolutely awesome. I really enjoy the way the album ends with Behind These Walls, Insanity, 1642, Imprisonment might be my favorite song on the album. It's just another classic concept album from King Diamond. So if you enjoy them and Conspiracy and Abigail, you deserve to own The Eye as well. And I'm happy I finally have it. Today, I couldn't help myself. I was out scrounging about trying to find another CD or two for this video. And sure enough, I did. But just like I mentioned earlier in the video, when it comes to Goodwill finds, don't go in with any expectations or any desire for a certain type of album. Because these ones I'm about to show are albums I would never ever buy or typically look for. But at Goodwill, I'll give them a shot. So this one I actually purchased because of Alan from Heavy Metallurgy. He is a big fan of this band and often talks about many albums of their era. This is House of Lords with Sahara, which came out in 1990. So yeah, this is this glam rock band's 2nd album, coming out on RCA, BMG, a lot of different tags on here. It's from an awkward era though, with 1990. I mean, this is like the transitional era where bands are trying to be glam but not quite. I've not listened to this yet, so I don't know what to expect. I picked it up because it was like $1, but also because Alan talks about this band a lot, and I want to hear why. So this seems like a good place to start. Also, interesting note, Gene Simmons was the executive producer, and of course it's highlighted down at the bottom. Then I picked up a couple other glam-related projects from the 90s. Whoever dropped off these albums was getting rid of all of their glam bands transitioning into the 90s material. I picked up Lynch Mob with their 2nd album, from 1992, released on Elektra. Haven't listened to it. I picked up Saigon Kicks, The Lizard. Haven't listened to it. And then, look at this fucking thing. I picked up Bullet Boys with their 2nd album, Freak Show. And I'm not saying I'm a Bullet Boys fan at all, but I owned their debut at some point. Felt like trying this one out. And I actually did spin this earlier today, and it's good. It's very bluesy. It's really not that cheesy. There are some like kind of cringy songs, but there are also some good riffs and just good blues rock songs on here. Even the track where the lyrics are a bit on the like 80s, cock rock side, like Good Girl, there's a mammoth riff. in that song, which kind of makes it worthwhile. So I was surprised to see Bullet Boys at the Goodwill, at least with their second album. And yeah, wanted to check it out, and this one is actually surprising me. Well, there we go. That's probably enough Goodwill shit for at least another 6 months to a year. As I said, I will not be going there quite as often, so yeah, how about a break from the Goodwill update videos? But still, I'm always a fan of going to Goodwill and seeing what you can find. It's like a challenge. It's cheap. It's easy. And if you're actually finding stuff, it's fun. So I know not everyone finds something or anything, but I know there's a couple that do. So if you've ever found anything good at Goodwill, let me know in the comments. I'm interested in hearing your stories, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on this haul. And dude, thanks for watching. Drink good beer and listen to good metal. Cheers.